funny how.
Thank you for joining us for the debut episode of the Participation Trophy podcast. This venture is a little over 10 years in the making, and we finally decided that we've got more to talk about than the Washington Wizards. We think it's important for you all to meet our cast of characters, so let me start from the very beginning. My name is Joe Glorioso, and back in 2008, I joined a sports message board called Wizards Extreme, which led me into the wide world of sports media. Along the way, I met a colleague at our government contracting job who shared my passion for good food, 90s hip-hop, and similar comedic interests, which happened to include our favorite pro basketball team. Meet Jamal Smith.
Oh, thanks, buddy. That's really nice of you. Jamal Smith, VA resident by way of PG County. I only claim PG. Dad of two, turned 40 in 18 days. Damn, did you think about that? Oh, man. Fellow sneakerhead. In fact, I'm going to be talking to you guys over the course of the podcast about my journey through sneaker life and streetwear and all things in between. And during COVID, I became a plant dad. So my new hobby now is buying a whole bunch of plants and taking a bunch of selfies with them. So it's old man. Yeah, old man shit. But yeah, man, happy to be on the pod, man. I'm looking forward to talking to all of you guys, and very happy to be connected with my boy Abdullah Sharif, who I met way back after I tagged up with Joe at some Wizards Girls tryouts, which was magnificent.
Shout out Wizards Girls.
Shout out Wizards Girls. I thought it was really cool that, growing up a fan of Washington basketball through the ups and downs, but mostly the downs, you hear about sports media and you see, of course, the usual Washington Post and the kind of big name outlets. But I thought it was really dope that, Joe and Abdullah had kind of started this site from the ground up. Young guys really doing their thing. So with that,
that was what, 2010, 2011?
It was 2010. Yeah, it was 2010. Yeah, when I was about 30 pounds lighter.
Man, Neil over there was a ripe adolescent. 12 years old.
Peach Fuzz.
Yeah, Hoop District. Yeah, that's where it all started, man. Wizards Extreme, Hoop District. That's how I got in touch with Joe. Led me into the media world. Covered countless bad Wizards games. I think started in the lockout season, 2012, 2011. That was the final days of Nick Young and JaVale McGee and Andre Blatch in the Wizards uniform. So, but yeah. It's been a fun ride, and 2010, I think that was around the same time I met my man Zane Zadie over there. I believe it was on Facebook. We come from the same community of friends, and I'm looking at this guy's comments all over my friends' statuses and posts and stuff. You know when you got that one dude that's like you've never seen him or met him before, but you got like 185 mutual friends. Yeah. That was Zane in 2010. I'm looking at this guy's post. I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like, who the fuck is this? Right? Like, posting these funny ass comments. Man, this motherfucker, you think he's funnier than me or something? So I go on his page and I'm just like, this motherfucker is funnier than me, man. Joe, sign him up. Hoop District. He's writing blogs. So, but nah, man. Well, our friendship kind of was built on being a Kobe stan, on being coworkers actually for a period of time. We share the same password for a few websites, that we frequented. So, but if I'm riding, here we are, podcast co-hosts.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what websites you're talking about, but if they're the websites that I'm thinking about, then I find those websites to be deeply offensive and desensitizing.
It's a .gov sites only, man.
But yeah, man, you and me go way back. I'm not as funny as he's alluding to. I'm kind of like that teen celeb that flamed out, but it's still hanging around. So we did a lot of work on Hoop District 2. I tried to quit a lot of times because I didn't grow up a Wizards fan, so it was a little bit of an adjustment, but I definitely was able to meet Joe and Jamal and all these guys. Then when I finally put in my notice, quit, I had the itch to come back. I miss working with these guys. But every time I would say I wanted to come back, Abdullah would tell me how good of a job Neil was doing. So I was a little low-key jealous of, he kind of found his child prodigy.
I did.
So I low-key hated Neil for a while without even having met him. But Neil did start watching Sopranos, and I'm a huge Sopranos fan. So me and him have been kind of getting a little closer, and hopefully we get closer going forward.
Not too close.
Not too close. We'll see. We'll find out.
What's up, Neil?
How's it going, guys? Great to be here. Like you said, the young buck on Hoop District. Already been 4 years. Been a quick 4 years covering this team. Zane, very much getting into The Sopranos midway through season 3 and enjoying every bit of it so far. Abdullah, we're roping you back into it, and we're going to give you crap for every second where you're not watching it.
I'm gonna catch up, man. Don't even worry about it.
Sounds good. But looking forward to talking sports and a whole lot more on this podcast.
So everybody who knows, you guys have heard our stories. You've heard, all of our backgrounds. Clearly, we're going to talk about sports, but this podcast is going to be much more than sports. We're going to kind of have a school type feel to it. That's why we call it Participation Trophy. You'll hear segments about theater, music, arts, crafts, detention. We'll have all sorts of different
crafts.
Wait till you see what I got for crafts, man.
Are we gonna make apple?
We got the.
Are we gonna make apple crisp?
We could have a cooking show. You don't think we can talk about food?
Home ec. That was an idea. That was an idea.
Making that coffee cake.
Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze up in
there. Ghost. No, but serious note, we're gonna start off things with a little open gym, and we will get started with sports first. So
a lot going on in sports, man.
There's a ton. Yeah. We needed the pause, right? Right?
Oh,
yeah.
Sure. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is the pause.
That's the pause. I thought you were just kind of opening it up and shit. I'm gonna cut the shit out. Don't worry. All right.
Yeah, it's all good.
So in our first segment here, Open Gym, sports is back. Sports are back. And, for a little while there, it was golf. And then we got a little bit of baseball. And then we got some hockey. And then the NBA came back. And for us, that's kind of our sweet spot because we're basketball aficionados, if you would. Unfortunately, our team doesn't really kind of help out the cause when it comes to talking about things. But sports did come back, and unfortunately, they had to kind of pause for a little bit as well. And so I do want to get into that. And guys, I think we should probably lead off with the most important stuff first. Let's talk about it, man. Let's just
current state of the NBA.
There's no way to cut it, man. The NBA is leading the charge. Adam Silver, man, you could say what you want to about Adam Silver, but that dude, he listens to his players.
Yeah.
He really, I think he's one of the best commissioners out there. And he really kind of understands the pulse of his league. And to be honest with you, I don't think the NBA gives a flying rat's ass what anybody else thinks about what they're doing. And kudos to him for doing it.
I think with the NBA, moments like this make me proud to be an NBA fan because if there was going to be a league that led the charge on social justice and making, bringing about awareness about, current issues and being progressive in general, and most importantly, being aware of its constituency. The NBA is 80% black, right? So I was a little wary of the bubble when the ideas first started ginning up. I didn't think it would work. But again, like Joe said, props to Adam Silver for keeping a pulse on, current events and what meant the most to, arguably the most recognizable and famous athletes in the entire world. There's a reason why they're global superstars and why, like I said, they've been chosen to bring awareness to the issues today.
Yeah, I mean the glaring aspect of this whole thing, and this is what I've always said, is players get a chance to use their platform for a cause that's outside of basketball and that actually resonates with society and brings about awareness. And I think when we talk about racial injustice, I think historically one of the best things that could happen to the black man or the black person is to attain a platform this high to be able to raise awareness for social injustices that are facing minorities in general, primarily black people. So to me, for them to be able to continue to play the game of basketball, the phrases on the back of the jerseys, the Black Lives Matter on the court, to still be able to do what they love and at the same time, try to bring about positive change. Like you said, only Adam Silver could have put this together, and he did. And so, even taking those few days off and protesting, and then coming back You know, it kind of kept things aligned and in perspective. And
coming back with concessions at that. I mean, it wasn't just
Yeah.
a break and then resume. It was, we are coming back with, you know,
Right.
new measures put into place. I think the polling place at the NBA arenas was the biggest,
Oh, it's so
biggest,
good.
most impressive
So
thing to
good.
me, especially considering, you know, how we see voter suppression going on rampant. So, yeah, they did it the right way for sure.
I'm pretty
One
sure
thing-
DC originally told the Verizon, or not the Verizon Center, that they were not going to need them. And I think of all the owners, I mean, maybe it's just because we're local, but I know Ted Leonsis has been extremely vocal about his feelings about what's going on, and his support for John and Tasha Cloud and all of his players, man. I think, you know, there is no doubt the players in DC know where Ted Leonsis stands. And I think that's really important for them, as well as the community.
The one thing I did love about the Milwaukee Bucks is that they were in their locker room sitting for multiple hours, and they got on the phone with the Wisconsin Attorney General. And so, like, that's a difference. You know, they're not just making a scene or whatever you guys want to characterize it, how some people want to characterize it. They're trying to do what's best, and I think that's the most powerful thing about it all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think they got a lot of criticism, but I mean, when you really think about it, it's not easy for anybody, no matter where you work, how much money you make, you know, to kind of take that stand. And especially when you're on that large of a platform, you're going to take a lot of scrutiny from certain people. And I was definitely proud of the way that they handled it and what they were able to accomplish in that short, you know, boycott or whatever the term might be. That's, you know, that's most suitable for that.
Yeah.
So
I think if they keep their mind towards making real change and not just doing, you know, gestures and you know, symbolism and all this stuff, but if they're actually using that time, using that boycott, the strike, whatever they called it, to actually, you know, make those phone calls, and it is what they did. That's what we heard about. But I think for the players themselves, as long as they keep their mind set on bringing up real change and not just, you know, doing it for publicity or for, you know, to just even at a mere level of awareness, like, you need to do more than that. And so for them to be able to actually use that time and try to take an approach where real change is made, they shouldn't worry about the scrutiny or what perception they're getting from fans and from the media.
Now, when you talk about real change, you know, you look at some of the big presences, if you would, in the movement, right? And we've lost two recently, and John Lewis and John Thompson just recently. Bill Russell had a lot to say about John Thompson's influence. He had a lot to say when John Lewis passed as well. Do you all think that there's a player in the league, and I know that we've batted back and forth whether LeBron is that guy. Do you guys think that there's someone in the league right now as a player or maybe a previous player who can kind of take that mantle and kind of, you know, run with it or lead the charge, if you would?
Well, go ahead, Abdullah. I mean, I think...
I was going to say, yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say, I don't think there's a runaway leader. I've heard a lot of good speakers. I think Isaiah Thomas is the Detroit Pistons. Isaiah Thomas is a very well-spoken, articulate person who understands the roots of the issue. That's where you need somebody who understands the roots of the issue. Where is this coming from? How far back does it stretch? How has it impacted people over time? And when you hear people like Isaiah Thomas talk about it, that's what you hear him talk about. He talks about the systemic root of the issues that are at hand right now. And Jalen Rose is one of those guys as well.
Yep.
I don't know if they're willing to take the helm to a higher level outside of just speaking of it on TV. I'm glad that they do that much because I think they're very strong voices. But other than that, I don't know if there's a runaway. Jamal, if you can think of somebody, but
I mean, not a runaway. I think we have to realize too, we put into the current context what activism looks like today. I mean, activism doesn't look like it did with Bill Russell and Kareem and, like you said, Isaiah. Yeah. You know, we have the magnificent tool of social media where we see guys emoting in real time and organizing in real time. You know, Wizards fans got a really sordid history with LeBron, but the man's work off the court speaks for itself, and the fact that he is very unapologetic about speaking about certain issues. And I think the guy has a magnificent career once basketball's done. I mean, he's got the charter school, he's got a lot of media things going on. So I think he is a de facto leader. But let's not. I mean, it doesn't take away shine from guys like Kyrie, who Kyrie didn't think it was a good idea to do the bubble, period, right? He wanted to, he wanted to really make a statement by not even, getting things off the ground. So LeBron has the biggest platform. He has the most notoriety, but there are a lot of guys out there doing stuff. And, I like the power of the collective action in general.
Do you like LeBron as a vocal leader?
I mean, LeBron is had to pull back some things. I will admit that. He does capture the passion of that demographic that really supports the NBA.
Yes.
I think in time, again, he'll get, more kind of suave with the way he approaches, the kind of initial reaction to things. But, he's very quick to react. We saw, his reaction to Jacob Blake's shooting, like right in real time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something we just, we didn't see that with any athletes before, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But, he I think, LeBron realizes what his arc's going to be. And again, the power of his words right now. So, I'm totally on board with whatever he's pushing for real.
Sure.
I think his actions. You talked about the charter school. That's you can't go to LeBron and say, "What did you do?"
No, you can't. Right.
It's clearly evident. It's something that people went back and I saw an interview with Craig Hodges recently where he complained about him going and asking Jordan to speak up when the Rodney King beatings happened in the 90s, and he thinks that he was blackballed for it, for saying it, and obviously.
And Craig Hodges is a G. Craig Hodges wore dashikis, warm up dashikis
to George Bush's White House, bro. That was to their White House visit. But I think LeBron, in recent weeks, I believe you see him kind of being a little bit more Jordan-esque in sense of kind of not politically correct, because there's nothing that he's doing that's politically correct.
Sure.
But I think that he is being a little bit more calculated with what he's saying and what he's doing. But again, I think he's able to do that because he's got a track record you just can't question.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that's the one thing. But as far as a vocal leader goes, I think I just don't know if he is the guy.
It's going to be a shared thing. It's going to be a shared thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's. I mean, I know I've been a vocal LeBron hater.
Air it out.
Better term.
Air it out, because I need it.
Look. First
Nobody hates on LeBron more than Jamal and I do for what he did to Gilbert. Okay, so let's just
it's been a long road to
you old man
LeBron.
With your Wizards talk. Jesus. But what I was trying to say is, and Jamal made a really good point. I think LeBron's track record when it comes to what he's done is undeniable. I can't say anything about that. As for being a vocal leader, whether or not that's important to you in comparison to actual action, I mean, that's for you to determine, right? But I don't really look to him for that. But I think the problem with him is he's also very, I don't want to say obsessed, but he's always thinking about his image overall. And he weighs a lot of what he actually says on paper, in print, verbally, vocally, before he says it. He's thinking, how's this going to affect my image? So, I take that, I put that criticism towards LeBron, but I also like how Jamal says, after basketball, he could have a bright future in that, because maybe at that point, he's not really as concerned about his image, and he's able to incorporate what he's done into what he's going to say and be more outspoken.
Yeah, for sure.
So one thing I will say about LeBron, though, is so they had that meeting at 8:00. All players were invited, where they said, okay, we need to talk about what's going on after Milwaukee said that they're going to boycott the game. LeBron left that meeting, and that essentially ended the meeting. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know what happened. To be a fly on that wall would have been amazing. But him saying that, hey, I'm going to leave, I bet you that put it in every owner's mind, okay, we really have to do whatever the heck they want us to do, and we got to back it up. And, hopefully that's a great thing that comes out of this.
Now, one of the amazing things to me, in light of all this stuff, is the fact that these guys have been able to kind of put that, not necessarily put it on the side, but tuck it away for a couple hours and put on some incredible performances.
Yeah.
Because the actual games that are being played have been nothing short of entertaining. I mean, look, man, I know that we're all been craving to have sports back, but the way the games are being played, they're just high energy, and everybody's out there competing their asses off. You're seeing these crazy point performances. What has stood out to you guys about the actual gameplay in light of all this other stuff that's going on?
The people are shooting like 90% from the floor. How about
exactly.
that?
Like, it's insane.
That is accurate.
Yeah, guys that, let's be real, weren't scorers coming into the bubble are, between the individual game performances, Luka just being, straight maxed out like my career player in 2K, hitting from all over the place. Jamal Murray, Denver just won that first round series against Utah. Just incredible performances, very high scoring games. So I've been most impressed with the quality of ball because it didn't start out that way, but props to the NBA for reading the room and, kind of tuning up things to make it seem like more of a real game experience. But yeah, the scoring has been outrageous. And I've talked to other people and I was like, am I tripping, or, is TJ Warren really not this good? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I know the first 2 weeks of the bubble, I was not tuned in. I don't know what was going on. I just wasn't really into it. And everybody in my group chats was like, oh my God, did you see that? Blah, blah, blah. Put up this amount. And I'm looking at the scores, and I actually started watching these games. And I was saying that 2-3 week stretch, I saw more great games, or efforts than I had seen maybe the last 1 or 2 regular seasons. I don't know if that's just me, or if it was the fact that I was craving sports like Joe said. But I mean, that's just how I felt about it. I mean, talking about the Nuggets game just ended, but Jamal Murray had 2 50-point games, a 40-point game.
Yeah,
Usually we're seeing these numbers from a James Harden or a top 10 player or a top 15 or top 20 player. We got players that, maybe aren't in your top list and they're putting up video game numbers. You know what I mean? So and it's not even like, I mean, teams are playing less defense, compared to before, but the shots, like just the toughness of the shots that are being hit is just, it's crazy to me.
Wow.
So this overall offensive explosion, is this like a reflection of just basketball in the bubble? Because I know when you take away the atmosphere, right, of an actual NBA game, the 15, 20, 25,000 fans that are sitting there, and especially if you're an opponent, right? If you're a road team, the impact of the crowd and the noise and the heckling and just the overall just the intensity of a road game, to eliminate that from the game, has that brought more authenticity to a player's game? You're seeing. I mean, we talked Luka, we said
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray. And then on the other side, Donovan Mitchell, right?
Mitchell,
so these 3 young bucks right now, aspiring or, up and coming superstars, now in a bubble atmosphere where there's no other distraction, right? Except for a bunch of pixelated ass fans on a backdrop. Right, and like 60% of the bench is wearing masks, right? So you can't even see half their faces. So there's no distraction. There's no distraction. It's just mano a mano. It's me and you. You know what I mean? Squaring up, and so
well, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see the other players sitting in the arena too. These guys are getting hype from that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But from a defensive perspective, does that make a defender more lax now? Okay, I don't have any pressure on me. It's just me. It's just me and my opponent. And how does that play against the defense? How does that favor the offense? There's a lot of layers to it, but the bubble definitely has had an impact on the way these games have been played out.
Sure.
I'll say that the pace is probably, I'm just saying this based on eye test, but the pace seems to be drastically increased. All these guys have had 4+ months off. They aren't traveling. They have their legs underneath them. So they're running up and down the court like it's nobody's business. And Zane, like you said, one thing, the effort. Jamal, you and I were talking about this. James Harden, he tracked down that Russell Westbrook air ball and somehow saved that possession for Houston.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that happened to James Harden a couple of years ago?
Exactly. Yeah, it's uncharacteristic stuff that's popping up in the bubble, which it makes it exciting, but it's like, how would this translate to a quote-unquote normal atmosphere?
It's not even the atmosphere, dog. They have no off the court life. There's no family. There's no nightlife, right?
Yeah,
Unless
that's
you're the
true.
Phoenix Suns.
Motherfuckers are sneaking in strippers into,
Yeah.
dressed up in uniforms and jerseys, right?
Yeah.
It's
Just to
advanced
get-
AAU ball.
Just to get laid, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's a long AAU tournament, straight up. Straight up.
yeah.
So
Well, look, speaking of bubble, do we have to talk about our team that
bro.
Yeah, that
got
kind of fucked
invited?
it up.
Got invited.
Neil, what was the official record, man? Was it
So-
1-10?
It was, yes, including the exhibition games to warm up, where they had to go through the Lakers, Clippers, and Nuggets,
Mhm.
top 3 teams in the West. They were winless through their first 10 games, including the 7 seeding games, and then they were able to luck out.
Yeah. I'm not
First
gonna lie.
soundbite of the show.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
Their
I'm not
only
gonna
win,
lie.
their only win, this is the sad part, came against the Celtics when they were resting their top 6 players.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kemba
I think-
Walker.
I think
and Tice.
Abdullah played that in that game for the Celtics. I think
And they barely squeaked that one out. But hey, Tommy, I'm with you. It's all about the experience. Develop. We'll see what happens next year.
I'm one of those clowns that put on the mask when I was like, you know what? Maybe they could squeeze in as the
Oh,
eighth seed,
man.
man. And
Because you
nah.
saw how hobbled Brooklyn was, and we thought maybe there's a
Yeah.
chance like Brooklyn had to leave.
There's no hotter fantasy. There's no hotter fantasy than the Wizards running the table on some level, right? Whether it's sneaking into an 8 spot, sometimes they make the 6th seed, and we're like, you know what? If we squeeze, that game 5, we win that.
Yeah.
We might win the series, and then we go to the semifinals, and
Yeah.
if we just win 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Like-
if Brooklyn loses, Toronto wins by 7,
Right.
and the Magic.
But here's the thing: Wizards love playing it out. Like they
Mhm.
love the Wizards fans love playing it out, and I felt the same way. I said, hey, they might just show up in a bubble. Yo, ESPN, was it a SportsCenter commercial about the bubble where the dude's on the phone
Yeah.
and
I remember that,
he's basically doing logistics, and he holds the phone. And he goes, "The Wizards are here."
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
It
It
does
Yeah.
hurts,
man.
man. But
So did
man,
Washington mess up their lottery chances because the Wizards have the 9th pick? With lotteries already passed. They had the highest odds of getting the 9th pick, but obviously that's not where we want to end up. But did they actually hurt their chances by playing in the bubble? I think I read some weird kind of
So
mathematical.
shout out Chase Hughes, our friend at NBC Sports Washington. He wrote so much about this, and Tommy actually gave him crap about it on the Zoom call.
Ugh.
So technically, the Wizards had the 8th worst record in the NBA by percentage points. And Charlotte gets locked into the 8th seed just because how they figured out, okay, this is how bubble play will work and things like that.
Right.
And then Charlotte, damn be known, they jump
Jump-
into the top
Jumped to the
4
top 3. Yeah.
as the 8th worst team in the league. So, it happens. But as soon as Brad said, yeah, I'm not joining, that was it for the Wizards. And they said, okay, we're going to play our young bucks and see what happens.
Yeah, that
Well,
pretty
I
much
stopped-
sealed it right there.
I stopped giving a crap about Wizards draft picks a couple years back, man. That was just like when you consistently pick in that like 6 through
Purgatory.
6 through
It's-
13,
Yeah, it's
6
the
through
worst
15,
area.
man. Like
Yeah.
that's how you end up with, and God bless him because I love Nick. That's how you end up with Nick Youngs and the JaVale McGee's who are not ready here, but
Chris
they go off
Singleton's.
and they become good elsewhere. Don't bring up Chris Singleton because Abdullah.
Oh, I'm
he
sorry.
start twitching a little bit.
I'm
man.
blocked. I'm blocked by
Yes.
that man.
Oh.
That's a story for another day too. You know what? Speaking of ex-Wizards, though, the Morris brothers were on display as well.
Dirty, man. Straight dirty, bro.
Keith-
Is there a need for a goon in the NBA in 2020? Like, is that still a thing?
Yeah. Every
Really?
team needs a goon. Every team.
They
needs a
do?
goon. Yeah.
Well, name some other goons because I thought they were like a relic. I didn't think we needed like a Charles Oakley type anymore to step on motherfuckers' ankles.
Yeah, I mean, there's no more Charles Oakleys, but when someone's killing you, like Luka was killing them.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the shift. These dudes are just trying to bully this guy, push him around, slap him around.
So it was they gave him the Lambeer treatment.
Something like that. I mean, when a team is scoring and they're a very finesse team, that's just how it is, right? It's like boxing. You always box with the brawler, you brawl with the boxer, right? So it's just an approach that some teams use. And people hate on it, but like you always want that guy on your team, unfortunately. That's just how it works. You don't want to play against him, but you want him on your squad.
I don't want Market. Give me Keith back. Give me Death Row DC back.
Neither
man.
one of them.
Hey.
Give me Keith back.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah.
Give me Keith
No,
back.
I mean, I was
funny.
surprised by the move. I didn't like it, but you know.
Keith was all right, man.
Who's our dog? Who's our dog now?
Who, the
Lakers
Wizards?
actually.
Wiz.
Who's the Wizards like
Who's
enforcer?
the dog on the Wiz?
Non-existent.
Who's the dog on the Wiz?
Yeah.
Nobody.
There's got to be somebody by default.
No.
Zane
Nobody.
says every
Didn't,
team.
uh,
needs
Wait,
one.
okay, that's a good question. Okay.
Didn't Davis
Every team
have
don't
some?
have one.
Hey, Davis talked some
Okay.
shit to
Oh
Marquise
wait.
the other day.
Define dog. You talking about somebody who's talking shit on the court, scrappy.
Talking shit, not afraid to get a tech or possibly tossed out.
I don't know if Davis is that guy. I mean, Davis has some words for Keith, but I don't know if he's generally that kind of.
He's not. I'm just kind
I
of.
don't think he-
I'm
Yeah.
reaching here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wizards. My bigger question for me: what happened to the Sixers?
Oh.
Soon as Ben Simmons
Is that
had that
team just?
injury,
You're not gonna give me the Brett Brown is the whole problem with that team, man. That's not you.
Agreed.
I'm sorry.
If
I'm not buying
But
that.
If you look at Brett Brown's tenure in Philly, right? The team's only won 70 games over 4 seasons, his first 4 years,
Right.
and they won 50 plus the last 3 seasons. So, but here's the problem: is they've got all the front court presence in the world. Tobias, Embiid, Josh Richardson,
Horford,
and Ben Simmons.
Al Horford, which was a
Yeah,
terrible.
Horford.
I thought it was a bad signing.
Right.
I mean,
And
109 million.
all these dudes are making outside of Horford are making 25 million plus for the
Mhm.
next 3 seasons at
Mhm.
least,
mhm.
and they have no perimeter offense,
no.
right?
They got rid of Jimmy
And
Butler.
So the Sixers they've been carrying the weight off their front court, and even that they've screwed up.
So
Joel Embiid, what, game 4? What was it?
So let me give you a breakdown of the, because I've been betting against the Sixers for about 3-4 years now.
Hey, they didn't get some money then.
I've been
Oh,
betting
yeah.
against those. So
Talk to the money guy.
I bet on against the Sixers when they played the Celtics before they got Kyrie, right? I want to say the Celtics won 4-1. I watched that series. First of all, he got severely outcoached, right? So that's one thing.
hmm
However, this is a joint effort and failure because who's their GM? Elton Brand?
Elton Brand.
Correct.
Yep. Who's
So-
been getting dragged badly.
Exactly, right? The best player on the Sixers, I want to say 2 years ago, was Jimmy Butler. If you watch
Yeah.
that playoff run,
Sure.
Jimmy Butler, I want to say carried them because I think Joel Embiid was the best offensive center in the game, could arguably have been the best center in the game. He carried them. According to reports, Brent Brown did not like Jimmy Butler. He did
Mhm.
not want Jimmy Butler on the team, according to reports, right? And obviously Jimmy Butler has had his issues everywhere he's went, right? Whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
But when you get rid of him, you get Tobias Harris. Cool. At the end of the day, and this is not on Brent Brown. I mean, that team is going to struggle with their identity. They have Ben Simmons, right? As great of a player as he is, they were never really able to figure out a way to maximize him in terms of, one, he never got a jump shot, right? And as being Wizards fans, we all know what happens when one of your best players or a point guard can't consistently shoot.
I don't know
right?
who you're
It's a
talking about.
liability.
Ouch.
I don't know who you're
Yeah.
talking about.
I'm just saying, like,
Whoa.
I mean,
Come
I'm
on.
also a Lakers fan, and I watched the Lakers play the Celtics, and I saw them win a championship. And I'm not saying it's only about championships. Every game is different, whatever series, season. Rondo was just a complete liability on the floor because anytime he was on the floor, Kobe could basically play off Rondo. He could double team. He could play help defense, right?
Mhm.
So I'm watching this over the last few years, and Ben Simmons, I don't think he was a great fit. They got rid of Butler. Then they signed Ben Simmons to like the craziest contract,
Yeah.
right? So I don't even know how movable he is. And now they're at the
Right.
point where Embiid he doesn't look like he's motivated. Like
No.
I see that this
no.
dude is sweating in the first 3 minutes of the first quarter, like Patrick Ewing off like a back-to-back in Egypt or
What was
something.
that?
I don't know.
Was that Michael Blackson meme about him? This is bullshit.
Yeah, like
This is bullshit.
well, they're in a world, and I'm not saying it's all Brent Brown. It's definitely it's
If
definitely
you don't
the GM.
stop calling him Brent,
Whatever his
No,
name is. His
Brent.
name.
Brand?
He's at a
You can
point
just-
now. It doesn't matter.
You can just
we
put
call
it
him
together.
Bryce.
Brand.
Bryce
Bryce.
Bryce
Bryce.
Brown, but it's
Bryce.
Bryce. Blade Brown. Blade Brown. So I have my own theory, but in order for my theory to come to fruition, we're gonna have to kind of jump out of this period and jump into our next period. So my point is, I think he got the Kardashian. I think Ben Simmons got the Kardashian virus, bro.
Oh, no.
Got-
Not the virus, though. Not the virus.
Well, no, because Kendall,
You know who got the vaccine for that? Reggie Bush.
yeah, I shouldn't call Kendall a virus because she's definitely not. But I mean, well,
Great ass.
it might get us in trouble, right? But honestly, man,
God.
like, anywhere these girls go, man, isn't there trouble that follows? Isn't it?
Did anybody successfully play through a Kardashian?
Yeah.
Who?
No, I don't know.
Hey, listen.
I mean, Tristan still,
Is he?
he's
And-
starting quality center.
Yeah, he's alive. He's not in rehab.
in all Caitlyn Jenner's
I'm
defense,
focused, man.
in all Caitlyn Jenner's defense, have the Jenners outside of Ben Simmons has either one of them dated an athlete? Because I know the Kardashians have. We know. So
yeah,
you know,
I'm
so-
conflating too.
I
You're
mean,
right.
it's
You're
the
right.
same mom.
So not to say that they don't
Half
carry.
genes.
Not to say that they don't carry the same, yeah, of course they carry the same genes or the same, stigma amongst athletes that they date. But this could be the start. I'm not saying it's not, but I don't think we have any Jenner experience of fucking up careers.
Which one was hollering at Devin Booker?
Well, that's a good
Kylie or
question.
Kendall.
Shit.
Well,
Those are
Kylie's
the two options.
Kylie's with somebody.
I don't know the difference, man.
I don't
I
either.
do.
I don't either.
I do.
You study this, bro?
He knows
Don't
about
ask
the
him.
feet. He knows
Don't
about
wanna
like
know.
the second toe.
You don't want to get into it. You
Oh,
don't want to get. Yo, so as I was
Sig,
as I was looking through this, man, I was looking at some of these. Oh, I had to hear that one. I didn't know what that one was, but I had to look at some of these other crazy couples that were out there, dude. Because I started perusing. I saw Kendall and Ben Simmons. And I was like, who the fuck else is dating? And then Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, Tiffany Haddish and Common, and then Trevor Noah and Minka Kelly. You talk about like three couples I never saw. I don't know why. I just didn't see any of those three together.
So
Anything stand out to you?
Common's been kind of bouncing around a lot the last few years, but the Haddish thing has been kind of bubbling for a while. Tiffany just shaved her head, and somebody said she liked George Foreman. I was just like, damn, man, so low.
Did she do it for a role?
Nah, man. It's a
She
thing
just
with
did it for
black
the hell of
women. Like the black women shave their head at one, at one point.
That's
Yeah.
it. Didn't Tony Braxton do that once too?
Tony, I think a couple of her sisters did it too. Yeah.
She recently came out and said she wished she had more sex when she was younger. That was wild.
When it's
Yeah.
love.
Wow.
But Tiffany Haddish got that mole right under her eye too, with a bald head. That looked like a teardrop, like she just got out the finish.
Yeah,
Tiffany-
she didn't get cooked, man.
Tiffany Haddish had that good where did I like her last role? Hidden Figures. I thought she had a great part. That was a great movie too. It's bringing up movies. Anybody caught anything good during this quarantine, man? We've been fucking locked up forever, bro.
I've been all TV, man. No, I haven't really caught any movies because I think it's hitting this point now where films are kind of deciding, like, do I want to just hold out for people to come to theaters, or do I want to push it straight to streaming? Like, we got Disney stuff that's hitting streaming, but Candyman was supposed to come out in June, right? I was anxiously waiting for that shit for like over a year. And they pushed that just to a theatrical release. Tenet, which is like, the hot thing right now. Also only in theaters. And I'm like, well, frankly, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not feeling going to a theater just yet.
Nah.
I don't want to die just because I wanted to see, a car explode. Like, I'm just not up on that. So yeah, it's been all TV for me. All TV for me.
Anybody else caught anything?
You remember when shit was cool, like right before the George Floyd incident? We were all just watching The Last Dance. Like the NBA was in full quarantine, so there was no basketball.
Ages ago.
But we were watching The Last Dance.
That's right.
That was my shit. Like that was
Is that
that
the
was
Julia
the
Stiles
highlight.
one?
It's it's
That do
perfect.
sound like Julia Stiles and Matthew McConaughey or some shit.
Perfect. Step up.
Good,
Step up the
good.
next dance. Yeah, Last
But-
Dance. And they
but
pushed
that-
they pushed
yeah.
that up, right? They pushed the
Yup.
release of that
Yeah.
up so that
Correct.
Yeah.
Michael
But
Jordan
that-
was trying to
that-
save
that was-
everybody.
That was a good little phase because we were all bored as fuck. Because this was when quarantine was, at peak.
Yo, I was just saying that earlier. That was
Yeah.
a stage where we were the most terrified,
Yeah.
but everybody followed the fucking rules,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
buy ground beef and toilet paper, but you ain't go to the motherfucking pool party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's when Tiger King was popping. Like that was like the kind of
Oh
low
my
key the best
God.
part of quarantine until
Yeah.
people, before
feels
people
like-
start going in grocery stores with no masks and all that dumb shit start happening.
That
So I
feels
actually
like
missed
ages
those
ago.
days. Yeah.
I will
yeah.
say, as the young buck and me, I was always a big believer in Jordan's the GOAT. LeBron is not there yet and probably will never be. Will be 6-0 is just something that I don't think will ever be matched again. But it was
Okay.
great
Cool.
seeing all my friends who probably didn't know much about Jordan, honestly. Our generation didn't really know him. But then one of my friends afterwards was like, holy crap, Jordan was the best player ever. I was like, yup, now you know. Now you
Yeah.
know. So that just enlightened a whole generation with that documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. It was a
Man,
good
you notice
time.
how everybody kind of just never mentioned the Wizards portion of his career during that thing. Like they just stayed away from that shit. Like it was like, nah, we don't talk about that
Well,
shit.
it wasn't
Did we
even
talk about
that.
Pat Ewing playing for Seattle? No.
Yeah. Well, history books are written by the winners, my friend.
Oh my god.
To the victor goes the spoils.
Is there? Did anybody see any? Has anybody seen anything shitty like that was recommended to you that was god awful that you wish that you had never
Yeah,
laid eyes
yeah.
on?
I've been replaying my life in my mind
Jesus.
every morning.
Jeez.
All right. Bill Murray and Groundhog Day, folks.
I don't think I watched anything really bad. I mean, I've been scouring like Netflix and Prime for movies, and I like turn on a bunch of horrible movies for like 30 minutes only because I had Ashley Judd in it, and it just hadn't turned out. Oh, yeah, I know.
Double Jeopardy, right?
Oh,
Jeopardy?
Hey, that's in my queue.
Oh, the boat
She was
scene.
great in
Woo.
Double
Wonderful. TV wise, I know Jamal loves him some Lovecraft Country, I believe it's the name.
Is the best.
I just started. I'm only on episode 2. I'm still like warming up to it because I'm not super into like the sci-fi aspect of any show.
Sure. Yep.
So I'm still warming up to it, but hopefully I'll catch up to you. I'm only on episode 2, and I'll let you get into that. But before that, I want to say I'm waiting on Fargo season 4 opens. I think it starts end of September.
Is that the one with Chris Rock? Chris Rock in it?
Chris Rock, yes, one with
Saw
Chris
that
Rock.
trailer. I'm kind of
Yeah,
interested
the
in
trailer's
that.
Money, yeah. Have you seen the
Yeah.
first 3 seasons?
I haven't. I was wondering if I should jump on here or what. I mean, what do you think?
The first 3 seasons are money. The first, so
Okay.
they're all very different but somewhat related. But the casts on a lot of them are really great. I want to say the first season has Billy Bob Thornton and a couple other side characters you might recognize. Season 2, I think you got Jesse Plemons, Kirsten Dunst, Ted Danson.
Okay.
Kirsten Dunst from Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And then I'm also waiting on Succession season 3 because I just finished that. I love that show. But I'll let Jamal get into Lovecraft Country real quick.
Yeah. No, Lovecraft is like I said, we're 3 episodes in. Episode 3 was just the other day, which is incredible. So it's a little. I mean, Jordan Peele has worked on it. I think J.J. Abrams, if I'm not mistaken, has
Bro,
worked on
that
it. So
dude
you,
is so
Yeah.
talented. Jordan
Mhm.
Peele
It's
is
ridiculous.
so fucking talented.
So you know what you get with Jordan Peele filmography. You get calling on race relations and some moments that'll make you a little uncomfortable, right? But still are
Mhm.
important to historical context. So
Are you
we're
getting any
dealing here-
sci-fi with J.J. Abrams?
yeah, man, you're getting a lot of supernatural stuff. You're getting
Yeah.
race. You're getting a lot of history. You're getting a lot of Easter eggs worked into stuff. I'm in a couple discussion groups. I'm listening to 2 Lovecraft podcasts because it's so much stuff to catch, and people are finding so many different things hidden in these
So
different
what-
episodes.
What channel is that on?
It's HBO Sundays at 9
you-
p.m.
yeah.
HBO Max specifically, so you can watch it originally on HBO and then you can stream it on Max. I think on Friday, like early. So I watch everything twice.
What's the worst HBO produced show you've seen?
I was thinking about that, man, because HBO doesn't take no bullshit. But
They
I
don't
don't,
take
I
no
don't know.
Thank
Agreed.
you.
I don't know what the
Yeah.
worst is. I tell you right now, they have they put out some kind of questionable kind of documentaries or stuff that just didn't quite hit that well.
It was
They
more
got
of a
this-
rhetorical style question, but yeah.
But even the quote unquote boring shit is still well produced.
Yeah,
Still
Right?
fire, yeah.
That's what I meant.
I didn't think HBO could follow up Watchmen, which killed. Right? I thought Watchmen was incredible, and that's, I just got into kind of comic stuff within the last few years. But now Lovecraft is killing. It's like breaking records.
Actually, I have an answer for you, Abdullah.
What's
I have
up?
an answer for you. Season 8.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got an answer for you.
Touche.
Shots fired.
You know what's funny about Watchmen is that I've only gotten through half a season because Zane knows how I am with shows, right? But I got through half a season. But the very opening scene of Watchmen, the scene where the cop has a mask on, and I remember watching that last year, and I'm just like, imagine a world where you got to wear a mask all the fucking time, right? Because that's what the premise of the show is, right? Is that there's a
2020.
virus going around, right? I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because I remember that exact moment where I'm looking at where I'm watching the show, I'm watching the cop, I'm just like, imagine that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Crazy.
Prescient. Yeah.
Little do you know.
Was
Little
Fire,
did we know.
was Fire Festival was that during quarantine?
No.
Nah, that was last year.
That's pre-quarantine.
Yeah.
That might have been like about a year
Time
ago.
don't make sense anymore. Everything
Nah.
blends together. And this
You're
is
out.
For real. Yeah.
Time is a flat
Absolutely.
circle, my friends. Time is a flat
Absolutely.
circle.
Time is a flat circle.
Westworld too. I've never seen Westworld. Was that any good?
So Westworld, I got into it late. The last season just frankly to me wasn't good. The first season was fucking groundbreaking in my opinion. Just the writing and the plot was really, really dope. But this last season just kind of lost me a little bit. I think they're done as far as the series goes, because they don't need to stretch that out anymore. But this last season just didn't come together that well, in my opinion.
I know what really upset Abdullah about HBO. They got rid of the cat house.
Shout out to my man. Was it Dennis? The late Dennis
The
Hoff.
late Dennis Hoff.
Dennis
Yeah.
Hoff, yeah.
He was gonna
Yeah.
run for for mayor, wasn't he, or something?
Just don't sit up here and act
Uh-huh.
like I didn't do some itinerary plans for the bunny house and what was it,
Listen.
Reno or some shit.
Listen, don't sit up here and act like I won't come in the door and salute Air Force Amy. You feel me? That salute.
I used to travel out west all the time. This is when I was like 23, 24 years old.
So my age.
Yeah, and so
I mean, the 70s were a crazy
I
time.
learned
Quit
I learned
lying,
about
Neil. You're 17.
You learn about cat house. You got a little money in the bank. You're going out west anyways. You know, you're just like, hold on a second. Let me
Remember,
see
it's
if I can-
legal. It's legal.
and it's legal. So I'm just like, let me see if I could, take an evening after work and see what's going on up in here.
Wow.
Just want to browse.
You guys
I don't
brought
touch shit.
we bring up Dennis Hoff here. I think that's a perfect little segue over here to our final segment for tonight, detention. So there was plenty of candidates this week for detention, but we're gonna keep this light. And so our three, and you guys feel free to touch on whichever one you want. Anybody can talk here. We've got Adele, who decided to dress up like I'll let you guys get into that. You saw the outfit. You got Pat Beverly, who decided to take on the executive director of the Players Union for the NBA. And then the number one undisputed here, which if we just had to label one, it would be the year 2020, in which we have seen the loss of Kobe, Chadwick Boseman, Regis, Fred Willard, Jerry Stiller, Bill Withers, Kenny Rogers. We got the
Kenny
quarantine.
Rogers died? What?
Yeah, man.
Quarantine. We got the social climate of the United States right now. We got kids zooming for school, can't even go back to school, and it's a fucking election year, bro. 2020 is the undisputed winner.
Undefeated.
Wait, come on, hey, bring it back real quick.
Yeah. Kenny.
When did Kenny Rogers die?
You got to know when to fold them.
Oh, I'm thinking Kenny Loggins.
Oh,
My
no,
bad.
Kenny Rogers passed, man.
You don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Bro, you got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to fold them.
Even with all the bad shit you mentioned, we didn't even put in like the natural disasters, the whole continent of Australia being on fire.
Yeah, that was
You know.
January, and
Oh my
everybody's
God.
probably forgotten about it. by
Yeah,
now.
then they got like massive rains. Texas got hit with 2 hurricanes last week. We got California remains on fire.
We could have, yes, I probably could. I probably could have had 2 pages worth of shit to go through. We didn't even talk about the murder hornets, the asteroid that's coming here before the election. The hurricanes. Like, I mean, 2020 is undisputed. I've never witnessed anything like this.
I always kind of hated when people reference like a bunch of bad shit happening to the year, like saying, "Oh, 2019 sucks," because we heard it in 2017, we heard it in 2018. But 2020 has been insane. It's been something else. I mean, and Kobe's death in January kind of set the tone because we went into quarantine a few weeks after that.
A few months. A couple months.
Yeah, couple months. March. 2 months.
March.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, early March.
Well, depends on where you
live.
live.
End of January. It was end of January, so you're looking at 6 weeks.
Yeah, early March, and quarantine just set it off. And then, like you said, Chadwick Boseman, 43 years old. No one even knew he was sick.
Bro.
Dude, Boseman and John
to
Thompson.
him, man.
Yeah.
Pandemic.
Boseman and John Thompson, 48 hours, bro. Like, that was just. Hey, shout out Wes Unseld.
Wes Unseld. Yeah.
Lute
Olson passed the other day too. Yep.
Yeah, no, you're Abdullah, you're absolutely right, man. Usually, like, you call out these years and you're just like, yeah, man, my 4th grade year, man, I remember this shit happened, and you're just like, man, shut up, man, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But like 2020 for real, it's just like the ass. It really is a fucking ass of years, at least in my lifetime.
The insult to injury about all of it was that everybody was making the jokes. Oh, 2020, I got 2020 vision. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be.
Little did we fucking know, man.
Really, absolutely that. Like, I think hands down, at least in my younger lifetime, you guys have a little bit more experience on me. It's been the absolute crazy year. We've lost so many people. Chadwick Boseman, like, that guy is an icon at this point. This dude was making movie after movie after movie, dealing with who knows what in hell with cancer all the time.
He was a superhero with stage 3 cancer, bro.
Yeah,
I can barely wake up and get out of bed with the flu, and this dude's making Marvel superhero movies with stage 3 cancer.
Yeah.
I'm in bed now. Nah, I'm just over it. Like, I just want, like, I just want it to end. I just want 2020 just to.
And if it's all the same to you, I don't have to drag my ass up here no more.
I'm just done with it.
Where do we? So 2020 undisputed champion, Pat Beverly or Adele? What the fuck are we doing here, man?
Pat Beverly. How many times has he been in detention for real?
He looks like he plays in Black Forces, right?
Bro, he looks like he's just a hooligan.
It's funny. You guys were talking about black names that actually end up being white people. Pat Beverly sounds like an old white lady.
He does sound. Yeah, he sounds like a librarian, man, like a televangelist. Like,
one of the
Patricia
Golden Girls.
Beverly.
Patricia Beverly.
The 5th Golden Girl.
She's done 45 years at NASA. She's retired and shit.
That's hilarious. And you got Adele out here dressing up like she was like
Adele's been through some
cast and shit.
Adele's been through some shit, man. Everybody's waiting like, oh, she's been through like life change. She got like I think divorce, and she lost like mad weight. Like, all the albums gonna be fire. But in the meantime, she's been looking weird as shit in public, man. Like,
bro, that. She said in the song, "I'm gonna show up at your wedding." Like, I'm gonna just be standing in the back scheming.
I wish her the best,
people eat that up.
What drives you to that hairstyle, man?
She's got Bantu knots, man. That's pretty niche. But she got dragged by Black Twitter, bro. She got Twitter. Shout out Black Twitter. Right. Shout out Black Twitter. Best Twitter alive, bro. Absolutely. Not even close. I've seen that. But I will, Jamal, like you said, I will give her credit for losing a full Adele. Yeah,
worth of weight, man.
The album's got to be fire. That's my prediction. I hope that's where this is going. Yeah.
Well, we'll see who makes it to detention for next week. But hopefully we don't have anything to add to 2020 because I have a feeling that like Flip Saunders used to say, don't ask if it can get worse because it fucking always can. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
we'll just leave it
Rest
at
in
that.
peace, Flip.
I mean, 2020. I think like if we were doing this like tournament style, like we would just throw 2020 in the ring every podcast and say.
Mhm.
Who's going to be 2020 in detention?
Like bye week.
Like 2020 is
gets
like
a
I
bye
like
week every
that. I
time.
like that.
2020 is like Clubber Lang right now before like Mickey died right now. Like
we
it's like that.
didn't get March Madness this year. We could make a March Madness bracket
I
out
totally
of
forgot
shitty
about
things that
that.
happened
Absolutely.
in 2020.
Absolutely.
All
64
68 events.
With
68
playing games.
Get the playing games in there.
Yeah, bro. We didn't even talk about all the sports that like we're not getting. Like that's in there too. That's in the 2020.
I was trying to bet my
college
whole
football,
savings on
college
Maryland
basketball, March Madness, you name it.
Yeah.
It's all shit. All right. Well, gentlemen, that's the final segment. But before we go, we gotta take some questions, right? And we got one in the mailbag this week. Hopefully, we'll get some more next week. And folks, you can mail us anything. You can ask us anything. We will talk and we will opine on just about anything you put in, with the exception of I don't know.
mean, just don't send us physical packages.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Yeah. Don't send us shit. There's no PO boxes or anything. So
Yeah.
let's go to the mailbag. Let's go to
I
I participated.
Yeah, for sure. First email. This is great. Historic moment. It's my man Justin.
Shout out.
I'm a huge Miami Dolphins fan. You ready,
Wow.
Abdullah? You got to sit up in your seat, Abdullah.
Oh.
I recently read a thread on social media with many fans saying they want a coaching change already because Flores isn't making smart moves. They bring up Minka and the recent Raekwon McMillan trade. I think he's doing well. He had like 1 million draft picks last draft and is rebuilding. Here's a 2-part question. Do you agree that Flores is on the hot seat? That's one.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, do you think he has a shorter leash because of race? Ooh.
Damn.
Congrats on the show, Justin. Let's talk about it.
Damn.
You got a Dolphins question?
So my man Justin is a Dolphins fan?
Yeah, one of 3 Dolphins fans I've met in my life.
Okay.
One of them being Abdullah.
I only know 3 too.
Yeah, it's Justin, Abdullah, and Jonah Black,
Funny.
one of my frat brothers too. Yeah.
I know 4 now because I know Justin.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Abdullah. You lead this one.
I haven't heard of any talk about Flores being on the hot seat. Moreover, I've only heard nothing but good things about him coming into the team as the coach, and while he's been coaching. I mean, of course, he's had the track record in New England. He's been known as a player's coach, a very disciplinary coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think for what he did last year for a team that was on pace to go literally 0-16.
Mhm.
1-15, 2-14 at best.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the first 3 weeks, particularly with the way they started against Baltimore last year, 59-10 was the final score.
Yeah.
And to win 5 games after trading away one of your up and coming defensive players, and I get it that kind of polarized the fan base overall, trading Fitzpatrick to the Steelers, but there was nothing that he didn't get back in return. So for Minka, he got a 1st-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
For Kenny Stills, he got a pick. So a lot of moves that seemed questionable did bring some assets back in return,
For sure.
and they were able to use that in the draft. 13 draft picks. They utilized about 95 million out of the 120 cap space they had.
Mm-hmm.
It's way too early to judge Flores at this point, because I think this is where it starts. He was able to weed out what he felt was necessary to weed out over the course of the past season. He knew what he was going into this offseason with all the assets from the draft picks to the cap space. And now is the time to really kind of put it out and put into fruition everything that you've worked on this past offseason. I think it's very too early to talk about Flores on the hot seat. And I don't think in terms of race, I'm gonna just end it with this, is that Stephen Ross, I mean, he's a billionaire owner. Everyone's gonna knock him for being a Trump supporter, quote unquote, to some degree. I think when you're talking about billionaire white guys, to some degree, they're going to be a Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Stephen Ross, in terms of awareness, in terms of social justice, in terms of the whole protesting, kneeling. Kenny Stills, Walt Aikens, all these players on the team that openly kneeled, and Stephen Ross, the owner, openly supported them for it. The Wizards, the motherfucking Wizards, the Dolphins.
Don't talk about them.
The Dolphins are one of the only teams in the league that has the black GM, the black head coach, and the brown quarterback. So
shout out to
if there's anything that's going to play a factor in any way Flores goes, it's not going to be race.
And COVID's not good. I think COVID helps him in the sense that nobody knows what the hell happened this offseason, man. Like as a Redskins fan, I'm sorry, the Washington football team fan.
You gotta get used to saying that, bro.
Bro, you can't judge anybody off this offseason, man. Like nobody had a chance to look at anything that was going on. So man, there's probably 25 NFL coaches should have been fucking fired for more than just being white and shitty. No.
Yeah.
No to the race thing. That was my point on that one. No.
I feel you.
No. Anybody else on Dolphins? Neil? I know you don't watch that.
Zane is so blown that this turned out being the Dolphins.
Yeah, man. No, we need more. Yo, this man turned into damn Howard Cosell with the Dolphins question. We need more than that. He was like, however, moreover, the polarization of the dichotomy.
Allow me to enunciate.
And encapsulate.
I'm surprised you didn't use naturality this time around.
Visualizing the realism of life and actuality.
Man, so that'll be the official wrap for our first show, our first episode here of the Participation Trophy podcast. Guys, I look forward to the next couple ones, man, and then everyone thereafter. I think everybody should enjoy this. I enjoyed it. I love talking to you guys anyways, man. You guys are some of the funniest people. Like our group chats, man. If we could put that shit turn that into episodes, man.
Let's make that a Patreon.
We will. We will. We'll try to find a way to bring that out. But send in your questions. Give us your feedback. We want you guys to be honest. We want to give you a show that you all want to listen to. I don't know what else to say, man. I appreciate you guys kicking it with me tonight, and we'll catch up next time. Episode 2 be next week.
Peace.